All right, guys, if you're interested in seeing some of the pyramid and stuff like that, we are at, why is it backwards? I don't know. Anyway, we're gonna go and take a trip on Calukmul. Calukmul is one of the largest ruin sites in the Yucatan Peninsula. And if you're into it, stick around with me and I will be putting together some clips later on. Well, no, this is going to be the clip. So enjoy. Here's what it looks like. So this is my second year here. About 2 years ago, Tim and I came, and it is it's pretty spectacular. We have been to many ruin sites, probably about 15 in all, and this was by far the most incredible ruin site that we've come across. Chichen Itza is of course a must-see, but there's so many tourists there. It's just packed. It's like the Disneyland of the Mayan ruins. You'll see, 40 to 100 giant tour buses, and so put this on your to-do list. If you plan on coming to see actual Mayan ruins, you'll definitely want to come and see the Calukmul in the Yucatan. All right, we'll get to the next clip in a minute. Stick around. This is the first structure we run into as we're headed on the trail to the Grand Acropolis. As you can see, it's pretty well preserved. And we have another large structure over here that we will go and visit. That is a big carving. I'm assuming it's been redone several times with concrete, and they do redo these pyramids for maintenance because of the elements. I don't think I need to explain what happens there. All right, this is our first climb. Come up and check it out. I don't know if you can hear it on the video, but these stairs are built in such a way that you get an echo coming back at you when you speak into them. There's a fun thing that happens at Chichen Itza is where they have you stand in front of one of the pyramids, and they'll have you clap your hands, and you can hear the reverberation. It's like a slapback echo. Probably the world's first slapback echo machine. Now, you may think this is kind of tall and we're up there, but just keep watching the video and I'll show you some surprises a little bit later. For the first time that we've been here, there's actually people around. That's kind of cool. All right, here we are at the Grand Acropolis. Pretty big structure. We're gonna climb up it, see what's happening. As you can see, it's big. But there's more to come. Let's go ahead and give it a climb. So this is a pretty healthy sized stone right here. It's still got some Mayan carvings in it, if you can see. We also have what many say it's a sacrificial stone, where you might lay down and get your noggin chopped. But then again, there's no one really here to ask, hey, did you chop people's noggins off here? So who knows? Pretty cool spot. If you do come to Calukmul, make sure you bring a lot of water, some food, snacks, things like that, because this place is vast. I see a lot of people here with a single little water bottle between two people, or no water whatsoever. And we all know what happens when you get dehydrated. Isn't that awesome? Let's go ahead and head on up. It would be cool to know what all transpired here way back in the day, like what kind of rituals, how they lived, what they ate, how they hunted. It's just the coolest spot. Okay, now we're going around the backside, and this is how you climb to get up there, so we'll give that a climb. I'm gonna go ahead and turn off the camera for a second, and I'll come back when it's on top. Okay, we were just down there. Now we're up here. For size reference. Hello.
Hi.
See? There's a person for size reference. Now mind you, we're not even on a big pyramid yet. But this is part of the Grand Acropolis area. There's that giant stone right there. As you can see, you can go up there as well. And that's where we're headed. Let me see if I can get an easy spot here. All right. Oh, now I remember. They don't make it easy to get up these. But what's so cool is, unlike Chichen Itza, they allow you to actually explore these and go up and see the full pyramid. Now, you're gonna like this. I'm gonna show you in just a second after I walk around a little bit. Okay, you can see where I'm at. It's pretty nice. Very, very, very flat land. Lots and lots of jungle. They estimate in this area, which is obviously hundreds and hundreds of thousands of acres, they estimate they've counted about 700 jaguars. Now, what I want you to look at is that, right? So we're going to visit that one, and there's another one that we'll also visit that you can see from that one. I'm going to go ahead and do my best to get down from here and not kill myself. All right, so when you look at most little rocks that these structures are built of, don't for one second think that they are not using just massive size rocks. I'm going to try to get myself in here just to give you an example of how, I mean, it's just huge. It's a huge stone. It's like, you know, what I would assume like Stonehenge size. And there is another one right over here. And these things are just, I mean, giant. They're huge. How did they move these with basically wooden rocks? Let me see if they have anything here on the weight of these. You know, they don't really mention the weight, but they're pretty huge. And so there is a couple more over here we'll walk by. Are we going this way still?
Yeah.
Okay. So as if the two wasn't enough, they had to pop out a couple more. And this is actually like a structure that has never been excavated. So they know it's a structure because obviously what you see here, and then you have this massive, this is bigger than the last one. I mean, it's just massive. And then let's keep walking. And another thing, what's so nice about this place compared to Chichen Itza is there's nobody here. The place is so vast, 6,000 plus structures to view. It's just insane. So whatever that was behind it must have been pretty important. Maybe I guess a king's home maybe, or something to that effect, where there was pillars just saying, I'm important, or it's important, or, maybe it was the party house. Who really knows? There's another structure over there that we could climb if we wanted to. And this is another structure coming up here. I really dig this place. So just in this small little square, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pretty decent sized structures. This is the map of the Grand Acropolis. We are here. I'm going to kind of look at that for a minute. That's how many structures are just in this one spot. There's many spots that you could go and see. Here's another giant stone. Tim, you want to stand up next to that just so we can get a size comparison? The other stones were actually quite a lot bigger than this one in size. Not necessarily so much in height, but just big, thicker, giant blocks. All right, well, we're gonna head to another pyramid. Stick around. Here we are to the other structure I pointed out. We were just over there where Tim stood in front of the structure. So these are more monoliths. This one's pretty girthy, man. That's a good size. And here we have, I believe, a total of 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And they're just, extremely massive stones. I don't even know how you would begin to lift something like that on a little platform of rocks. It's pretty spectacular. As you can see in some of it's still, you can see some of the little carving. Most of it's kind of been either chiseled away by vandals or just through the weathering of time. Also neat is Mother Nature has its way of a seed dropping in some stones and up comes new life. Unfortunately for the pyramid, the trees have roots and they kick the stones out and create all kinds of havoc. So that's why a lot of the structures look like the one over there where we were showing you the stones. Another structure. We came from the other structures over there, which is, I don't know, maybe half a click, maybe a quarter click, somewhere in there. Wasn't too far, but it's a walk. Which, by the way, if you do plan on visiting any of the pyramids that you can climb, make sure that you wear some good tennis shoes, something you can climb in, because you're definitely going to want to climb the structures, and they allow it. And most of it's kind of, I don't know, it's easy if you're agile, but some of the stuff you may not want to attempt. So we're going to go ahead. Another giant stone, monolith, giant rock. You can see where it's fallen and broken. So they've repaired it there. They've repaired it here, and it's just basically on a rock bed. All right, let's keep filming and see what lies ahead. More structures, more monoliths. This one's a little bit taller. I remember climbing this one a couple years ago. Now, some people say, guides we've spoke to in the past, and things like this. Not necessarily this right here, but rooms similar to this. They used as bedrooms, but I don't believe those were the bedrooms. Those are more of a, I believe, a ceremonial type thing, because as you can see, we're in a plaza again. You see this stone? This is, believe it or not, a carved stone. I hope you see how large this piece of rock is that was moved here for whatever reason. It's massive. Let me see if I can get me in the picture, kind of give you an idea of how massive this giant stone is. Again, I'm assuming, because people have said that we've talked to, that they use those stones for human sacrifice. But, you know, I don't know, why kill people? Oh, there's another giant monolith over there. That's a pretty big one. That looks all intact, and it's still got some carvings on it. Vandals, guys, come on, this is ridiculous. This is current. This was not here a couple of years ago. You know, putting X marks and things like that. That's just bad taste, bad mannerism. Parents teach your kids to respect the things that people have left us. Again, this is giant marbles. As you can see, there's still a fair amount of original carving. A lot of it has, generally speaking, if there was something of value on it, such as a face or something like that, it's been looted long ago. But you can tell some of where it's just actual carvings on the stone. You can't really loot that. I'll show you a few stones maybe later on where they've tried to cut a section of a stone away from the stone, but they didn't get all of that. Okay, so here's a climb. As you can see, Tim's right up there. If you want to go for a climb with me, I'll hold the phone, and we'll take a trip up top. You can see my shadow. Very, very beautiful. It's incredible to think that Mayan people moved this amount of rock, and they used like I've been told before how they bonded the rocks together. I don't remember, but it's like a mortar, because you can see they filled in some of the rocks with small rocks, things like that. You're gonna hear me get winded. It's just what it is. As we go up and up, look at this smooth face over here. This is very interesting. Both sides of the pyramid have the smooth face on the sides. Oh, I should have counted the steps. Maybe my smartwatch will tell me. All right, just a couple more stories. All right. All right, here we go.
Did you guys go up another one yet? Or?
No, 2 years ago.
Oh, okay.
We're gonna go up there. We'll go up there.
And hear Tim telling a story about us being here 2 years ago.
Oh.
All right.
So he's gonna go up and get it for.
Yeah. Lucky you.
Yeah. I get to see it twice.
Awesome.
Beats everybody.
Have fun.
Yeah, you too.
Just met some people from Canada. First thing Tim said was, Canada, eh? He's crazy. Okay. Is it worth the view? Absolutely. Now, Here's what's crazy to think about. There are thousands of structures that the jungle has basically eaten, and they're just now discovering with LiDAR. There's the other pyramid we were at earlier that I climbed and showed you the pictures of these. Let's take a peek over here one more time. Again, thousands of uncovered structured. Okay, I'm gonna climb up to the top. Let's keep the camera rolling. Here we go. And remember, water, snacks, proper climbing shoes, food, water, and a friend to help you if you have to send somebody back for food or water. Hola, how are you? So, that one over there is the one I believe I was standing on that I climbed up on the top. Now, next, in a few, we'll go visit that one right over there. We're over here, our flag is our best flag, and they over there,
False flag.
that's a false flag. It's a false flag operation. This is the only one true flag. Do not let us catch you with another flag over there. All right, everyone, mount up. We're gonna go get their flag. All right, we're getting ready to head down. I just wanted to show you a couple carvings. Are they original? You know, probably not, but at least it gives you an idea what the stone might have looked like, or the monolith. It looks like it's possibly a 3-piece or even a 4-piece, but still at that size, to bring it up, I was gonna say a couple of flights of stairs. All right, we're gonna go over and visit the other Grand Pyramid. Stick around. All right, I'm gonna take you with me on the climb down. We just came from up there. You can see a hand, you can see a little hand up there sticking out to give you a reference of the size. That's the stone that I was just at. And a couple of people there for size, and let's go ahead and cruise down. You'll note that my breathing isn't nearly as bad as when I was coming up. Also, what's funny is we met a couple of people up there. They're from Germany, and one of the guys said he had visited here about 10 years ago, but he was about 20 kilos less. He said he's got a beer belly now, and he said the last time he was here, boy, he sure sprinted up this, and this time it wasn't quite as easy for him to make it up top, which, you know, who knows, another 10 years, we'll see how I do if I do come back. Quite beautiful. This you might be able to see the wire. I believe they used that for some of the not the Mayans, of course, but I believe the restoration people used it for a few of the rebuild construction builds that they've kind of had to maintain these, obviously, when they've uncovered them, so they had to do some maintenance, make sure that it's safe for tourists. Another thing, look, if you can see here, this is where a stone came out, and this is a stone that did come out. So when you're climbing these, make sure you put your foot firm on this and not on the very edges of the stones. There's your pro tip for the day when climbing Mayan ruins. All right, and we are pretty much down. There are the stone monoliths again. People, hi people. Just to give you a size reference. And Tim's waiting, let's go. Just came down that from the other side. The other side over there is where those 5 monoliths were that I was showing you, the undeveloped pyramid, or well, not undeveloped, let's just say unrestored pyramid area. I can't read that, so somebody help me with that if they would, that'd be great. I'm not sure exactly where we are right now, but we are trying to make it to the other grand structure that I showed you that was through the trees. I can't show you this. This is most likely a bedroom. So this quite possibly is a dwelling for, this would most likely be dwelling for some royals. As you can see here, that is where they would possibly have a shrine for worship, a god, or fire. Under here, sometimes they have stones that are carved. This one doesn't have any missing. Let me see what we've got over here. This would be another, it's a hallway. This is another bedroom. Basically, they would have their beds and things like that in here. And again, I don't see any of the carved stones that I've seen in a few of the different bedrooms that we've been to in the different ruins. And back here is jungle. And you've heard me talk about jaguars, so that means we are exiting this area. But this would definitely be, in my humble, most awesome archaeological brilliance that I've studied all my life for, would be a bedroom, maybe a royal family, or someone, a family that was important in the community. And I know this because I've only been told it by many different people and guides that we have walked with in the past. Now, how do they know? They don't really know. So this looks like it is a place for people to sit and maybe congregate. Or maybe it was a giant barbecue. I don't know. As you can see, they actually had some form of plumbing. So, you know, this could have been a wading pool, a place where people wash clothes. People would come down and wash themselves. I mean, it's perfect for a pool. And as you can see, that's the plumbing that would go through, so they could basically block it off, have a pool area for that, and then let it come down over here. Yeah, I remember this. This is great. A little more plumbing over here. See a little waterway in there. This is the waterway from the other side. And over here, you see another drain. So, I mean, who knows? This could be a giant kitchen in that place where people were building their bedrooms. Maybe they were the chefs. Who knows?
Don't walk on this. It's deep.
There's something here.
Really deep.
Oh yeah, this goes down to, it goes down a ways, and a long ways. So don't walk on that. That's bad news bears right there. Definitely be cool to explore. I'm not sure. There might be an entrance to that down here, but I don't see any light coming from it. So let's check it out. This structure's pretty big. Once I get down a little bit, I'll give you a good idea of how big it is. Again, they've cited these as kind of like how the Catholics put all the candles and the doodads for worship in their little squares. Again, this could be bedrooms or worship areas. Who knows? But that chamber is basically right behind one of these, and there's just no openings. And even if there was, they'd probably have it pretty well blocked off. So let's take a grander look as you can see, it is pretty nice. Huge, 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 huge. You got those two center pillars, very interesting. Steps, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 steps, 6 steps up maybe. All right, we are gonna continue to look around. I believe we've got untouched jungle that way. So we're gonna follow our noses and see what we can find over this way. You know what? I think I remember that we had to climb back over this and go to the left. I think we did this in the past.
Yeah, there's nothing there.
So we are going to turn around. Now you see these stones? There's a lot of piles of stones around these buildings. This is basically from years of restoration. When something falls out, they will tap into the rock pile and toss a new step in. Remember the step that fell out? So they've got a pretty much never-ending supply of materials. All right, we're gonna climb back up over this and I'll see you on the other side. We just came from that way, and let's take a trip up into what I believe is a living quarters. Yes indeed. Okay, cool. So this is where the bedding is, the bed. Once upon a time it was probably flat, so let's see if I can get in over here. Okay, cool. So as you can follow me with the trip here. I don't know what this would be used for. Maybe a common area? Huh. It's fun to speculate. Many people, they call them scientists, they actually get paid to speculate. And sometimes they prove a theory and it's perfect and it's right and it's verifiable. But when people aren't here anymore and they didn't document their history in, you know, oh, here's how we moved these great couple 100-ton monolith stones into place. Well, unfortunately, they didn't leave that information. So we get to speculate. So I'm going to speculate that that is a bedroom. That's a common area. There's more bedrooms down there. It was much like a kind of like a trailer park, a current trailer park of today. All right, we're going to continue on to the next Grand Pyramid, and there's literally structures every turn, everywhere. Again, there's like over 6,000 structures just at Calukmul. So even back in Maya times, 300, 600 AD, they saw the importance of building a wall. It's not political, I'm just messing around, but it seriously is called the wall. Why it's called the wall, I don't know. Looks to me this is a possible bedroom. Ah, perfect. Okay, so remember when I was telling you earlier? So right here, you would see where they would do their shrine, their worship to their gods. And then under here, they're gone, but they would have carved stones, and they were really cool. There was a few ruin sites that actually still have the carved stones that would go under the bed. But of course, vandals over the years and Spaniards and all the bad people of anything that moves, they steal basically. So if you have a friend with a carved stone on the wall that looks like that shape, maybe you can convince them that it belongs in a museum or back at an archaeological site. All right, this is cool. Well, what do we got here? Oh, see, there's another little structure, and these bedrooms are much all the same. They've got the little place for worship, you know, depending on how big your god was, I guess, and you had your place for your cool little stones. I would say, judging from the size of this, those would have been carved stones, the carved heads or carved designs. I'll try to find one for you guys to give you an idea of what they look like. This site has been pretty well picked over through the years, but it is one of the biggest, so it's obviously received a lot of attention over the years. This is saying it's the urban boundary. If you want, you can pause it, read that, and read that. And if you only read Spanish, well, I'm sorry, you're gonna have to go back and translate it. Another bedroom. So you can see the difference in the rooms. This is not indicative of a bedroom. Grain storage, a closet for, Imelda Marcos. She's got a ton of shoes. I mean, I don't know. Who can tell? Residential unit. You can read that. You can read that. Read that. All right, and we're headed on through the jungle to another structure. Here we are at residential unit 6. That's kind of cool. I do remember all this from a couple years ago. These are my archaeological speculation. Notice, so these would have been carved stones that they've taken out that would have been really, really cool, either carved or done with, paint and some of the cement mixture they used. So look at this guy. I mean, this is a king bedroom here. Again, you may have, a carved stone. It may have been a worship area. But pretty fancy room. Again, another room, similar. Carved stones missing, obviously. Carved stones missing. Nice bed. A rock to worship. And you could imagine, you've got maybe a whole family, a royal family, or maybe even you're just a good guy that liked to build a lot, and this would be like the common area. Kids would get in here, they'd play games like Uno, Catan, Monopoly, PlayStation 3, maybe some Sega, and just kind of chill out and have some fun. Now, there's only one little problem. How do I get out of this thing? How do you get out? Okay, you got to go out the other way. So, obviously, back in the day, they didn't practice fire safety or escape routes because there's only one way in and one way out. But then again, if you think about it, with jaguars and who knows what else out there trying to kill you, you'd probably be okay with, one door in, one door out to be safe. All right, we are heading back into the jungle. This was the Great City side A. And what's funny is, again, we leave. I don't know how we end up, but apparently we just off-trail hike a lot. It's another map of the Grand Acropolis. So you can see there's a couple structures. All right, be back in a second. So this is from up, from down there. So this is Tim. He's tapping on a monolith right there. It's just about as tall as him. And those were the 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 that I showed you earlier in an earlier clip. What I'd like you to see is we didn't actually climb this earlier. I just climbed up And I'm going to tell you why I climbed it is because we got lost and we had no idea where we were. And we've been looking for that guy. And from here where we're at, it's 128 degrees southeast from us. So we're going to go and take a visit. We'll see you on that. Ciao. So I was just standing right there and I took a couple photos, and right on the other side of this is the 5 monoliths. And this is what I had to climb up to get here. So again, you're gonna wanna make sure you have good climbing shoes and really be safe, because we are about 80 kilometers into the jungle. There's no emergency services. There's no place to land a helicopter. In other words, don't mess up. Up to structure 2. In my opinion, structure 2, well, I mean, it's bigger. I don't know if it's as tall, but it's like, I don't know, 2, 3, 4, 5 times the size of structure 1. It's massive, 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 massive. So we're gonna head up there, and I'm gonna have a power bar for lunch. Again, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 is the magic number for whatever reason, unless someone stole one of the monoliths from each site. These are pretty decent size, you know. I would say I'm gonna take a wild guess and say over 400 pounds a piece. That's about what, 2.2 trillion in kilos, I think. I'm not sure. I don't do a lot of math. Isn't that amazing? So we say we start our climb. Got a couple guys there. They're gonna take us home. We need a ride home. That might be the way to go. There's also a structure over there that looks like they are building. But here we go. Let's go climb. As you can tell right now, I am not winded at all. I've went a total of 4 or 5 steps, so got that going for me. They have some chambers in these that I think are shut. Yeah, they have them shut. And I'm not sure what's inside. It could have been a little area where they kept ritual doodads, but it's definitely locked. I don't know why you would lock it, because there's really nothing in there that could be taken to my knowledge. But maybe it has some carved stones left or something like that. It's kind of cool. Here's some of the work they've done to try to keep it alive and keep it going. I would imagine that they would have had some kind of, I don't know, whatever, gold statue or a fire burning or something really cool. As a sound and lighting guy, I would have had that over there. Here's one of the main monolith stones right there. And then see on this other side, so some say that is a jaguar, some say it's a rattlesnake. I don't know. There's 2 on either side. I'm pretty sure it's a liger. So let's keep going. Alright. It's a pretty decent size stone. It's about 3 foot taller than me. So I can't imagine dragging that thing up. I don't know. It's one of those stone things. Ask a mason if you know one. Ask him about anti-gravity and how the Egyptians built the pyramids. And ask him why we can't use that technology now. Alright. Let's take a peek down again. Looks like I'm about halfway. Beautiful, beautiful scenery today. Beautiful. Some guy below is getting yelled at. I think he's climbing the wrong way. Trying to kill himself or something. See Tim up there. He's doing well. Keeping him alive. So it's the first structure we climbed today. And I showed you the pyramids. All right, at first you think, okay, we're there. Nope, still to go. Look, little guy right up there. Again, that's the guy I climbed earlier. Let's check over here. Little structure there I showed you. All kinds of fancy dancy. Building. How they made their way up here, I don't know. It's not like any of the people would have been grinding corn on a site like this. I mean, they would have been down in the poor folks area. My theory is if you were up here, you were either a builder or very, very royal. I just can't see that, you know, they'd let kids come up here and play around. Although, if I was king, I would, but I'm not king, so it doesn't really matter. All right, so that is the backside to the spot where that ceremonial stone was. So this is kind of like a 3-step pyramid, I guess. We'll go up the last step. Don't forget, lots of water. Tim's out of water already. And food and good climbing shoes. All right. Structure 1. Structure 2. This is to give you an idea of the amount of restoration that happens on some of the pyramids. This is the backside. So as you can see, it's pretty much jungle, but underneath it there is structure. But if it's cleaned properly and maintained, it looks like this other side. This is the front side. Here we have it. So we have actual walls and things. A lot of it's been helped, say a little bit, rebuilt. You can see through the years how things have been restoration in the different directions. Let's see if I can move here. So you have some earlier restoration, then you have some later restoration, which is pretty obvious. You can see the difference in the way the stones go and the restoration has happened. There's a lot of places like this. Just think about the Sphinx of the Great Pyramid, how they redid it and gave it new paws and stuff, which is just hideous. But that's the farm one. So once they're done with restoration, they look like that. Now they have to keep up with the jungle, because the jungle would literally eat this thing in a few years. It's crazy. Like, look right there. The tree just grows and rips things apart. Isn't it beautiful, beautiful? I kind of have a theory, a speculation that this area being so vast and dense, the only way to communicate with, say, other tribes, or see where other tribes were, or to find your location in the world, would be to build a giant structure to get above the forest and just see for miles and miles and miles and miles around. I bet if we had a good telescope, we could see other structures, you know, in the distance, because they're everywhere. I want to share with you kind of how windy it is up here. It's getting windier and windier. It's like kind of cool. No real rain in sight, but it is blowing. Let's see if I can see the trees. That's my other friends. Baja California. He's here for a month, having a great time. We got a couple from Poland over here. I have a little bit of film left. I figured I'd continue to tape a little bit. We just came from there. That's the structure 2. It's beautiful through here. I mean, there's structures everywhere. It's just insane. To your left, to your right. Again, a lot of it is not, not even developed yet, or developed. Well, I guess I think at this point you're not going to see any more real excavation per se, or renovation. I think it is kind of what it is. But it's super neat. You're going to want to spend the better part of the day here. I would recommend coming in the morning at opening. I want to say Google it when you plan your trip, but try to get here when they do open, because you'll avoid the heat of the day. I like the heat of the day. I enjoyed today. It wasn't really super hot. We did have some decent cloud cover, and we also had, as you could tell, quite a lot of wind. A couple years ago when we were here, it was pretty brutal. We had very little wind and a lot of heat. I want to say it might have been right around 100. What is that? Celsius, maybe 35, 36 Celsius. That's a guess. I'd have to look at my cheat sheet on Celsius to Fahrenheit. Isn't that cool? Another structure. These blow me away. These are incredible. I just can't fathom people in huts and grass skirts. Not that they had grass skirts, but I mean, maybe leopard skin. Who knows what they actually wore? I don't. You can Google it. I'm sure there's a lot of information to tell you what they wore, from digging up mummies and whatnot. That one earlier, I believe, I don't think we climbed that one today, but that's another one. That's the one that had the 5 big, giant, heavy stones right in front of it. This one's probably the biggest one I've seen. I can't lie. Look at the size of this thing. Insane. What was this? I can't help you. You know, my theory is, when they started excavation on this, you see all the trees. These trees look like fairly new growth. I mean, they're not hundreds of years old. So maybe the trees that were growing here before them or after them or whatever, maybe just did too much damage to the structure, where they only could kind of rebuild a little bit to make it look decent. Another stone. Why? I don't know. Another giant stone. Stela 1 was probably erected around 721 AD. That's very interesting. You can pause your video there if you want. Pause your video, and then that's the last part of the Calukmul. Really neat. Really pretty. That's structure 8, I believe. I don't know why. The whole structure thing really blows my mind. I mean, I don't know if presented with being in the jungle with, you know, 100,000 people, 200,000, a million people, or whatever. I don't know if I would be possessed to want to dig rocks up, carve the rocks, and start building giant pyramids and erecting giant megalithic stones. All right, well, this almost concludes our visit today at Calukmul. We'll see if there's anything else down the road. All right, well, we're on our exit to leave Calukmul, and I just stumbled upon some little soldier ants, and apparently, and I wish you guys could hear this, but you can actually hear the leaves move. There are quadrillions of these ants everywhere. So this is a YouTube challenge. Go ahead and find an ant place like this, and I want you to jump in while eating a Tide Pod and a spoonful of cinnamon. That's a new YouTube. Holy shit, look at that cockroach.
Oh, in the billions.
This is not kid-friendly video, sorry.
Where was that?
Look at this. And they're branching out.
Nice.
Yeah. Oh, the trees, lot of monkeys here.
That's awesome. Yeah, I heard
So-
this noise as we were walking by. I'm like, yeah,
There's
they're
a
turning
couple-
cockroaches
Couple cockroaches that are like,
running for.
we out. Let me give you guys some advice. Run. This is
Look at that.
this is a straight army.
Crazy. Yeah, those are like the ants that eat everything in their path. Yeah. All the bugs, anything they can get.
So the other cockroach is right there. The other one has climbed up and fled as
Pull
well.
them out, dude.
It's just insane. I hope you guys can see this okay on the video. I'd like to get closer, but there's no way. There's trillions of these things. Look at the I'll get down here real close to a little traffic zone.
In the area. Here. So really,
If this is freaking anybody out, if you're like getting heebie-jeebies, I can understand.
last week,
Something is getting eaten right there, very rapidly.
nice. We left, so we flew to Cancun and drove straight towards Belize. Went out to like Mahawal, Chechemal, all that area down there. Went back up.
Okay, let's continue down here. We've got an intersection here.
Went back out here and then we
Something
Campeche is very nice.
Yeah.
Very nice.
something looks like it might be getting eaten. Oh, something is I got to keep moving because they
It's big city, 900,000 people is Merida.
keep trying to climb up on my shoes. Whatever this is not long for this world. It's gone. Actually, I'm gonna blow on them real quick. Oh, so it's another ant that they're trying to kill. Let me see if I can help him. I'll come back in a minute. So, this guy was saved, and he's going right back in there. Right back in there. What is he doing? Oh, maybe he's a part of the deal. All right, well. Here's another dude. Apparently, nobody likes him. Sorry I'm spending so much time on these ants. It's just fascinating. Okay, well, we're going to continue on the army
One's called the
of
Cantil,
ants.
the coral snake.
It just
Coral
continues
snakes are
on
bright
and
red,
on
bright
and
yellow.
on, and
Have you seen pictures
ends
of
about
that?
right here.
All over the
So
world. Bright
here's
red,
the
bright
first
yellow bands.
barrier,
It's
or the
venomous-
first
venomous.
battalion
The rattlesnake, the
coming,
Cantil, and then
looking
there's
for
one called the
food
jumping
right
pit viper.
spanking now.
And the reason they call that when it strikes
As you can see
at
it.
something, its whole body comes off the ground
Look at that.
because it's not real
Amazing.
big. You know, it's maybe a couple feet or half a meter.
Right, onward we go to the exit. Guys, some monkeys in the tree. I totally forgot to film, up in the trees. I'm no monkey expert, so we're just gonna call those, that species monkey. Hope that's okay. Aren't those cool? There's a lot of monkeys around in these trees. I know there's some howlers. I didn't hear any howlers today. Those do not look like howlers.
No plans. You guys no plans either? Are you guys just going, or do you plan a little bit?
We have planned to go because we have rent.
We'll just let you look at these for a second. They're playing up in the trees. How fun is that, right?
A lot of these roads are nice.
Yeah, just one.
There's actually some monkeys over to the left and to the right, so I'll see if I can get any better shots of those. Give me a second. We'll see if anything happens. If not, we'll get back to the trail. Might be happening.
They're not fighting because they'd be making.
I didn't necessarily want to film any monkey porn, but
That's crazy.
I had to. I was gonna start playing it or recording a minute ago, and then I noticed what they were doing, so I figured we'll keep this PG today. All right. Well, those monkeys. That's Calukmul. You'll see everything. You may see some snakes. You may see cascabel. You may see a boa. You may see a coralillo, coral snake. You may see what they call the four noses. They're all here, but they hide. So I wish you luck. And if you're not looking for them, I wish you luck not to see them. Buena suerte. All right, this is the end. This concludes my tour of Calukmul ruins. I hope you enjoyed it. How do I always end up in this predicament? This is the story of my life. Apparently I, once again, have gone where I'm not supposed to go. Anyway, if you like this video, what I'd love you to do is don't hit like and don't hit subscribe, because I don't really give a crap about any of that stuff. But if you did like it, I'm glad, because I know a lot of people would love to come here, maybe even dream about coming here. And maybe some people just don't ever think about coming here for any reason, and that's fine too. But if you do enjoy it, I'm glad I enjoyed filming it for you. And it's just an absolutely beautiful, beautiful place. And I'll probably come here again.